What's up guys, welcome to Brick Productions, and guys, today we're going to be taking a look at my entire military World War II collection. So if you guys know, a couple months back I built some World War II mocks. So today I want to be showing you guys my entire collection, all of the figures that I own. As you can see right now, there's quite a lot of figures to go through and tons of different variants. So I'm just gonna dive into it just for the sake of this video because it's probably gonna take a while. Hopefully I can get through it pretty quick. But we're gonna first start off with the Axis side first. So first off, we're gonna start off with the German infantry. Now these are the dark gray uniforms, and this is kind of the iconic German uniform from World War II. As you can see, they have the infantry insignias on the side of the helmet, as well as some cool attachments and stuff printed on there. And then there's that is a tank commander, German tank commander. And then back here is TheMiniFig Co. MiniFig Co figures. So these are all Brickmania, by the way. I should have mentioned that. These are all Brickmania. And then this is the MiniFig Co. I'll actually pull one out for you guys so you can guys see it a lot better. Just pristine printing all the way around. Very, very cool figure, very well done. And if you notice, this color is actually very different from the others. So this is dark bluish gray Lego color, and this is actually dark gray. This is the old dark gray from back in like the early 2000s and before. Here is a medic, a German medic in his dark gray uniform. And then this is the winter gear Germans. Now these are all Brickmania except for this guy. This guy right here is actually Citizen Brick. All the rest of them are Brickmania. And then over here is the desert gear uniforms that the Germans wore back in the day. And I don't have a lot of them. I only have 4 of the infantry troops and then 1 of the commanders. So pretty cool stuff there. And then back here is just kind of the miscellaneous like figures I only had 1 of. So this is a Kriegsmarine captain, or lieutenant rather. So pretty cool stuff there. That's from the MiniFig Co. This is a SS sniper. So that's also from the MiniFig Co. And then this guy is from Citizen Brick, and this is the light gray uniform. Now this one wasn't as iconic as the dark gray, but the light gray was also commonly used in World War II. And then over here is my Japanese. Now I have hardly any Japs, hardly any of them. There's only 4, and then I have a pilot, a kamikaze pilot. So yeah, I don't have a lot of Japanese going on there. But that is the Axis side so far. We'll get onto the vehicles later, and then we'll get on to the Allies. So we're first going to start off with the American faction, and this is probably my favorite faction. These are your normal infantrymen with the tan torso. These are all from Citizen Brick, these 4. So those are normal infantrymen. This is the tan version of the 101st Airborne Division. So yeah, Army. It's the Army branch. That's Airborne. You can see the American flags on the side. And then over here is the dark tan version, which is more common. This is what you would see in Band of Brothers and stuff. You guys seen that show? This is heavily based off of Band of Brothers, and this is from the MiniFig Co. These 2 figures. Then we're getting on to the Pacific Campaign. These are my Marines. Now, 5 of the Marines I have with, I think they're called the Orca camo helmets. Now the helmets are from the MiniFig Co. I'm pretty sure they're called Orca helmets, but you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I am almost positive they're called the Orca camo. And then these are kind of like the early Pacific, kind of like 1942 Pacific uniforms with just the olive green pot helmets and 1 steel pot helmets. That's all the way back. And then back here is my American pilot, American fighter pilot. And then here is the 2 Navy boat drivers. So they would also be on like battleships and stuff, manning the flat guns and all that, and maybe being a gunner or something. And then over here is the Army Pacific uniform. Now the Army actually got heavily involved in the Pacific later in the war, after the war in Europe was over. Pretty much just to push for the entirety of the war to be over. Of course, the war ended in 1945. The Marines were basically fighting in the Pacific throughout the entirety of the war, or at least since the Americans were in the war in 1941. And then the Army was over there, but pretty much they didn't heavily get over there until 1945 to assist the Marines to get the job done. These are kind of the uniforms that you would have saw in like Hacksaw Ridge or something, if you've seen that movie. And then over here is two Russians. Now one of them is the winter gear, and then one of them is kind of the summer gear, and one of them has the steel helmets instead of the Yashenka. And then over here is three French soldiers with their Adrian helmets. So not a lot of French that I have. And then over here is the most that I have. These are my British soldiers. Now I have a lot of them because of the Dunkirk mock I made. I want to say in the Dunkirk mock I had like 42 British soldiers, I think. But these are all the ones that are from Brickmania. The other ones were I was using like Lego elements. So I guess you can't really, you know, count all of them that were in the Dunkirk mock, but these are the ones that are actually like legit. So yeah, these are the Brickmania British troops. Some of them have the rifles, that's why I have some of them separated from the ones that don't have the rifles equipped. This is a British officer. And then back here is a British SAS, Special Air Services. And then we're gonna move on to not a World War II related figures. This is kind of a modern day version of these Special Air Services. This is actually kind of based off of the Call of Duty character from, his name's Ghost, and he's based off of the character from Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. The character was a British SAS, so I guess this is like a modern version of this guy, basically. So kind of cool to see them both there. And then back here is actually interesting. So I am a proud patriot of my country. I'm proud to be an American, and I like to collect the uniforms through like pretty much the evolution of the U.S. military uniform. I don't have all of them. I think I need 3 more, but I will go down the line of what I have. So starting off, we have the Revolutionary War era uniform, the Civil War, World War I, Vietnam War, and then this is kind of like post-Vietnam or late Vietnam uniform, and then this is modern day. Now I need 3 more. I think I need 3 more uniforms. I do have the World War II, of course, so that's why the World War II is not there. So I do have World War II. I need the Spanish-American War uniform. I need the Gulf War uniform, that kind of like that chocolate chip camo uniform, and then I need a War of 1812 uniform. And I think I'll have majority of the uniforms, at least the iconic ones. So yeah, I'm almost done with collecting those. So I thought you guys would enjoy that. I know it's not World War II, but I feel like you guys would, you know, enjoy that, especially if you're American, to see all the uniforms kind of lined up together. And then we'll get on to the vehicles back here. Starting off, we have a QF1 British Pounder. Over here is the 2 Willys Jeeps. Now one of them has a 50 cal mounted on top. The other one doesn't. And then over here is the M3A1 half-track. And these were heavily used over when kind of the first battles where the Americans were fighting the Germans. This was used over in the Battle of Kasserine, which was a absolute massacre for the United States, but it was their first battle fighting the Germans. This is kind of the vehicles that you would have saw over there over in like the desert warfare type stuff. And then we have a P-51 Mustang. It goes with the American fighter pilot. But pretty cool stuff there. P-51 was mainly used over in Europe, fighting the German Luftwaffe. And then over here is the PaK-38 artillery gun. These were nasty, fighting some of the Allied tanks, such as the Valentine or Churchill tanks for the British, or the Sherman tanks for the Americans. These were absolutely nasty. These were kind of the, I want to say the worst nightmare. The worst nightmare for those tanks were the Tiger tanks, but this was pretty nasty. Over here is the Stuka, which is my favorite plane from World War II. It's my favorite plane because of the siren that it makes when it dive bombs. And then over here is a Panzer III. So pretty cool stuff here. So I do have a tank, and I would like to continue the collection, really just figures, but mainly vehicles. I'd like to get some Shermans in there. I really would like to get a Tiger tank, because that's probably my favorite tank of all time. So just general stuff like that. Maybe some British tanks would be cool, like a Churchill or something. But yeah, guys, that's going to be it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video.
Guys are very nice.
Thanks so much for watching, guys.